me tell you what's coming up on the show. Booker, Cory Booker, and Jeffries host a sit-in. The White House Correspondents Association, I think that's what WHCA stands for, the dinner. We have highlights from that. Pope funeral controversy.
There's always something.
Always something. And the Trump administration is arresting judges and liberals are freaking out. All that and so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can see all the things chicks at www.chicksontheright.com/links. Also, please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. Please do.
And
that.
I forgot to do this for you. Sorry.
Please do that. Oh, Blackout. Yes, you guys, are you fueled up? You should be fueled up with Blackout Coffee. You can start your morning with them and us. Visit blackoutcoffee.com/chicks. Use code chicks at checkout for 20% off Blackout Coffee. Do it.
It's so yum.
It is.
But
I'm drinking
I
it.
still haven't gotten any messages from anybody who has tried the chocolate cream egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to know about that. So I'm going to order it, but like, I was just hoping for a review in advance. If anybody has one,
you should just do it. Just dive right in.
I'm using 2 like AirPods this morning and it feels so weird because I can't hear myself really. Like I feel all, modeled, but I sound okay.
Are you going to start screaming? You're going to be like,
I don't want to.
You sound great. You sound perfect.
Okay. All right, good. I just want to make sure that the sound isn't weird for anybody else. Could I take the tiniest moment of personal privilege if I may?
Always.
Mm-hmm. I just want to give a shout out to who I refer to now in my house as knee replacement Steve, because there's an audience member of ours named Steve who got a knee replacement of his right knee, same as mine, same as Greg's, on Thursday, this past Thursday. And he wrote that day and said, "Hey, I had a knee replacement this morning and I just thought I would walk you through this process." And he's been giving me like a play-by-play every single day of like what he's feeling, what he's doing, how it's going. And it is so helpful. And I just appreciate him so much for doing it. And, he's had a couple days of struggle, but it's like he's also talking about the good stuff. And he's 2 years younger than me, which I like hearing from somebody that's in the age group, right?
Around your age, our age.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I vote that instead of calling him knee replacement Steve, you just call him Neve. I think that's what we should call him from here on out.
Neve.
Just shorten it a little bit. Right. I think that's helpful.
Henceforth and forthwith, he will be known as Neve.
It shall be so.
Yeah, I just so appreciate it because he's telling me the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's it's just great to hear that first hand account of somebody going through the exact same process. So really, really appreciate it.
Love it,
Neve.
Neve. Thank you, Neve.
Thank you, Neve. All right, let's get into the things and the stuff. We've got some headlines to get to, some of which are kind of awful. And we'll start with the most awful. And that is that there was one of those SUV attacks yesterday in Vancouver at a festival. It was a Filipino heritage festival this past Saturday. 11 people were killed. Lots of people were wounded. They got the guy right away. I guess people that were in the crowd got him and held on to him. And he was known to police for being kind of crazy town. So yeah, that's kind of awful.
I mean, a couple of things here, right? Like one is bring back mental institutions.
For real.
Right? That would have solved one of the problems. And two, we have to ban SUVs now.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, this was an assault SUV. So
it was. They're different. They're a little different.
They're different.
Right. Yes.
So that happened. And also in Canada, it's kind of a big day today because it is, in fact, election day. So we're going to know, I would hope by the end of today. I don't actually know how Canadian elections work. So I'm assuming you find out today who wins this race between Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney. We'll see. But also the entire parliament is up for grabs, essentially. So we'll see how the Canadian election turns out. But that is the thing that's happening today.
Rooting for Pierre Poilievre.
Yes, I think everybody. I mean, if he doesn't win,
they're done. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right? You can't. They're unhelpable. You know what I mean?
I agree completely.
Totally unhelpable. In other news, do you guys remember, I'm sure, at Reagan National Airport back in January, there was that horrible helicopter and plane crash that killed lots and lots of people, 67, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yeah, 67,
I think you're right.
Including 11 kids.
Right.
And now there's been this full investigation and a report that has come out, which puts pretty squarely the blame on the pilot, who is a female junior officer. Captain Lobach was her name. And she apparently just disregarded orders, instructions from her co-pilot, and just didn't descend when she was supposed to descend. And so that really, really, really sucks. And as much as it's awful for everybody involved, I think about her parents, knowing that not only have they lost her, but she is to blame for losing the lives of almost 70 other people.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful. And because she didn't follow an order, and there's no, and I think that person that told her to do whatever she was supposed to do, like they did it not just once, but I think they did it twice. And she didn't, and you don't know why. In her brain, why does she think, well, I'm not going to follow that order. I'm not going to do what they're telling me to do. Why would you not do that when you have?
I know. All the questions are swirling now, right? Like, was it on purpose? Was she suicidal? Did she have mental issues? Like, what was going on? And we'll never probably know the answers to some of those questions. I don't know how we would really. So it's kind of like how we never really know what's going to happen with the market, which is why it's always a great idea to have some silver and gold on hand. And you can get your hands on one of these 0.999 fine American Silver Eagles for just $33 plus free shipping. I recommend you call our friends at First Fidelity Reserve, because when you call, you can tell them, hey, the chick said I can get my hands on one of these babies for $33, and they will honor that when you call 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630. Get your hands on one of these American Silver Eagles at just $33 and free shipping. They're expecting the price of silver to skyrocket to as much as $50 an ounce by the year 2028. So now's a great time to get your hands on one of those babies for yourself, or maybe for your kids or grandkids. It's always a great investment. 800-336-1630. All right. We also need to talk about a big headline from the weekend, and that is about Virginia Giuffre, the woman who, one of the Jeffrey Epstein victims. She allegedly has taken her own life. We talked about her, what was that, like a month ago, when she got into the wreck?
3 weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah, I'm sorry. Anybody believes that she unalived herself? These are the same people that want Fauci to be their family doctor, you know? You know what I mean? Like, do you really believe that? Come on. Do you really believe she unalived herself? Do you?
I mean, it is very strange. Back in 2019, this tweet of hers was making the rounds for sure this weekend, because she made it very clear back then. Now, granted, this was 6 years ago, but she said, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me, in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. And so a lot of people are like, did she still feel this way? This seems super sketch. What's going on? But they're saying apparently that when the Daily Mail article about this came out, she was found unresponsive in their family's almost $2 million mansion in Australia. And according to police, according to her family, they say that the death was not suspicious. Make of that what you will.
All right. It
seems very suspicious to me.
It seems so suspicious to me. Yeah, I think it really, and we need that list. Come on, Pam.
Even Coda's like, come on, Pam.
Coda's like, what are you doing? Right?
We told you guys a week ago or so, that Kristi Noem had her purse stolen in a restaurant while she was having dinner with her family. And wouldn't you know it, it wasn't illegal. Surprise!
Surprise! I mean, are you serious?
It's like poetic almost that it was an illegal immigrant.
Crazy. Oh my gosh.
But they caught him. He's a serial thief from Chile. And I'm not going to say Chile like all the other
He's
people.
a serial. Come on, Mock. He's a serial criminal from Chile.
I'm not doing it.
That's where he's
not
from.
doing it.
Yes.
We also told you that inexplicably Susan Rice was still on a Defense Advisory Council up until this past weekend, at which point Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ended the service of not just her, but all committee members on the DoD advisory committees. And that is overdue.
I like the last paragraph. He thanked them. He was like, thank you, but now GTFO. Bye-bye
Right.
now. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, that is so overdue. Yeah. I feel like that could have been done on your first day. Maybe just
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. In other headlines, we have the Pope funeral that took place over the weekend, and Trump's arrival to it was talked about on Fox because it's like he just draws people in, right? Like he has this energy
He's magnetic.
that draws. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is totally magnetic. Here's how Fox described it during their coverage.
So President Trump is shaking hands with a lot of these world leaders. And this is something that we saw at Notre Dame as well. They come to him. They want their moment. They know that they are in a negotiation with the President of the United States over many things. And he is definitely a gravity center at these events. So just an interesting side note there. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just want to point that out.
No. But so basically.
Yeah. I mean, Biden was not that way.
No.
I don't even think Obama was that way. And Obama was like Mr. Charisma to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he was that way. I think these leaders are like, he is the alpha dog and they are drawn to the alpha dog.
Yeah. He's like,
dynamics.
He's every president and they are Sheila Jackson Lee at a State of the Union.
Totally. Yeah. Can I shake your hand? Can I please shake your hand? Let me hug you.
But naturally, Trump can't go anywhere without like fake controversy swirling around him. So immediately the headlines were like this. The Vatican asked Pope Francis funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit.
Dun, dun, dun. So stupid. So dumb.
I mean, it was so dumb because, of course, everybody was focused on Trump wearing a blue suit, a blue tie, and they would only show pictures of him around a tiny group of people in black, including Melania, who wore all black. But then if you just zoomed out, you could see that there was actually plenty of blue suits. He was certainly not the only one.
Yeah, a lot of. What does it freaking matter?
I don't know.
Honestly, what does it matter?
No.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but the guy is not here to see it. So what does it matter? It's just a suit color. Why are we talking about this? It's so stupid. I mean, listen, when I die, wear whatever you want. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I just like, why is this even a thing? Why are we talking? It's the stupidest thing ever. These
media outlets just need something to criticize him for, no matter what.
It's just so petty. It's like at this point,
so dumb.
Right. This is the American media. You are just a caricature of what you should be.
Yeah.
You're ridiculous at this point. He wore a blue suit, you guys.
It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. But this is the state of the media right now.
Walter Cronkite is spinning in his grave. You know what I mean? It's just like, you guys are so stupid.
Well, and honestly, it takes the focus away from the reason that they're all there, which is to honor the life of the Pope. And so what were the headlines? It was all about Trump and what he wore instead of the actual Pope, which is really,
I will say,
pathetic.
Melania looked amazing though. She
just
completely effortlessly beautiful and graceful, and she was elegant. She looked beautiful.
And it was her birthday. And this is the second birthday that she's had to do. What was she doing? Was it Jimmy Carter's funeral that she was at the last time? I
think it may have been Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I think you're right. But
what
you're
a
right.
shitty way to spend two birthdays.
Right. Mock would have been like, I'm sorry, this is all about me. Okay.
Right.
Do you remember though when Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson both died on your birthday? Do you
I
remember?
was pissed.
She was really mad about
was
that.
pissed.
She was like, why'd you got to do that, Michael Jackson? Why did you have to go?
I
and
was
do
having
that?
a great birthday until you guys stole my thunder.
What is that?
And to be fair, I actually felt really bad for Farrah because Michael
too.
Jackson dying was like humongous.
And
you
it
know what I mean?
overshadowed her.
Totally overshadowed her.
Yeah,
I
it did.
loved her.
I did too. I loved her too. You're right. It completely overshadowed. Yeah, it did.
So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
if you are a person who is struggling with your weight, but you might be afraid of doing like the big deep dive into the GLP-1 world, which I don't blame you because that shit scares me.
Thank you,
bad.
but no. Yeah.
Thank you, but no. Here's an option that you could try from our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition. They are, of course, the people who brought you Field of Greens, green powder nutrition, which is so delicious. And we've talked to you about that before. But they now have this weight loss supplement. And this helps you break free from yo-yo dieting. And it also helps you lose weight without resorting to like dramatics, right? Which would be the shots and all the side effects that come with the shots. This is a way more natural way to try to get your weight in order and under control. It's called Lean, and it's super, super duper stuff because it helps you maintain healthy blood sugar. It helps you control your appetite and your cravings, and it also burns fat by converting it into energy. So you can try it. You can get 20% off of your first try of it by going to takelean.com. Use code CHICKS20. So not just chicks, but CHICKS20 at takelean.com. You'll get 20% off your first order. CHICKS20. Do it. There was another interesting thing that happened over the weekend. A meeting between Trump and Zelensky took place, and the photos that it created were like, once again, iconic. I mean, look at this. Piers Morgan tweeting, wow, what a picture.
It
Those
is,
two,
head
to head, intense, right?
It is iconic. Like, but they always do this though. I feel like whenever we have meetings like this, they're always in these gigantic rooms with like 2 chairs, like in the middle of this gigantic, you know what I mean?
I know.
That happens a lot, like with the world leader thing. And then also big interviews. They have like this gigantic room and then there's like these 2 little chairs in the middle. It's a cool picture. It is. I'm not trying to take away from the picture. And the background is beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Yeah. With interviews, it's even weirder though, because it's like they sit so far apart.
Right.
And you're always like, what are you doing? This is like so close and intense, like knee to knee. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yikes. So that is a thing that happened. And then also, this was super interesting and juicy. Do you guys remember George Santos? Super gay George Botox Santos, the thief. So I didn't realize that he was facing a prison sentence. I guess I should have realized that, but he is facing 87 months in jail. He was sentenced this past Friday. Apparently, he was very emotional. He sobbed during the reading of the sentence. He did plead guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft in August of last year. He admitted that he lied about his background. He committed identity theft in order to bolster his political career. He's kind of a mess of a person.
Yeah.
And so he's going to jail. He said in the courtroom, he said, quote, "I betrayed the confidence entrusted to me by constituents, donors, colleagues in the court." He also has to pay $373,000 in restitution. Yikes.
Yeah.
And after all this happened, he tweeted this. Could you read this to everybody?
This is, yes. Pants on Fire with George Santos. Okay. This is the hardest statement I've ever written. I write this humbled, chastened, and fully accountable for choices that shattered the faith so many placed in me. I betrayed the confidence entrusted to me by many. For that, I offer my deepest apology. When I pled guilty, I did so without reservation. I said then, and I repeat now, that my conduct betrayed my supporters and diminished the institution I was privileged to serve. Those words have weighed on me every day since. I cannot rewrite the past, but I can control the road ahead. I ask the court for a sentence that balances accountability with the chance to prove through sustained, measurable action that I can still contribute positively to the community I wronged. I believe that 7 years is an over-the-top, politically influenced sentence, and I implore that President Trump gives me a chance to prove I'm more than the mistakes that I've made. Respectfully, George Santos. I will say, I mean, he's done bad things, he should go to prison for it. But then now do everybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's, there's so many other people that have done so many terrible things that are in a position that's so similar to his, and they'll just walk. They're walking right now.
Kash Patel and everybody's been saying, Mike Davis said last week, justice is coming.
Okay.
So I'm just holding on.
I'm not holding my breath. I'm definitely not holding my breath. I'll believe it when I see it. But that's the thing. I'm not saying that what he did was right.
Right.
And 7 years is a long time. There are rapists that don't get 7 years.
Yeah, it does seem like a really long time.
The justice system is, as you would say, borked.
Borked.
Yeah.
It's definitely borked. But it is not as borked as Canada. I know we're going back to Canada. So we started the segment with Canada, but I saw this headline and I was just like, what is even happening? So Ontario taxpayers have to pay for surgery to give some absolute freak show both sets of genitals. So this trans whack job is like, I need a penis and a vag. I need both things. And taxpayers have to cover this mental illness.
And why? I mean, like, taxpayers don't cover my medication. You know what I mean? And I pay taxes. You know, it's just like, I look at this and I think, okay, how can the people there think that this is okay? And they'll say, oh, it's so great because we've got, universal health care and all this kind of stuff. And it's so awesome. This is the awesomeness of it, is that this freak is going to get, what do you even call that? What do you call that when you have both? He's going to become a hermaphrodite? Is that what it is?
I guess so, because he is a dude and he has dude danglies, right? But he also wants woman parts. How that even works?
I don't understand
obviously, that's going to require doctors who do these kinds of surgeries to do a kind of surgery that they have never done before.
Right. And shame on those doctors. That's disgusting. Yeah, that's so gross. And we also should start the hashtag dude danglies, because it's Monday. Hashtag dude danglies. No.
I'm totally down.
Yes.
Totally down with that.
Let's do it.
There was another big thing that happened over the weekend for those people who pay attention to the NFL draft. There was like all kinds of controversy with Deion Sanders' kid, Shedeur Sanders, who's like a piece of shit guy. I'm sorry, but everything I've seen about this kid disgusts me. He's one of those kids that like flaunts his wealth, thinks he's way more talented than he actually is. And he was convinced, along with his family, that he was going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. He did not get drafted until I think like the 5th round, at like the 144th pick. He ended up going to the Browns. And then there was like this controversy too, because a friend of a kid who was like on another team, like the son of a defensive coordinator for one of the teams, has a friend who prank called Shedeur and pretended to be a team that was drafting him, even though they weren't. So there was all kinds of controversy with that. And then there were the cries of racism. Oh, well, he's not getting picked because it's racist. And I'm like,
what?
It's the NFL.
Are you kidding? The NFL. Okay. Like, oh. Okay. They just, they only hire white guys. What?
It was insane.
Oh my God.
I just thought, you know what? We'll let Sage Steele give the rundown on this, because she had it exactly right.
So Shedeur Sanders fell in the NFL draft because of racism. I should have known that somebody would pull the race card, and I think it's just a pathetic take. That's just my opinion, though. Here are some numbers, some facts. If you care about facts and the truth right now, that might interest you. I did some homework. It's not that hard, you guys. Last season, 15 of the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks were Black. That's about half, right? That's racist. How about the top 15 NFL players as far as money, payment, what they're making, salary? Dak Prescott, the highest paid player at $60 million a year. That's racist. And of the top 15 paid players, 9 are Black or biracial. 9 of the 15, making a combined $448 million a year. This weekend, I know you kept track how many Black players were taken in the first round. 26, guys. 26 of 32 in the first round were Black. That's over 80%. You know, it's always the same cast of characters who cry racism and try to divide. So I guess we should not be surprised, but it's pathetic and it's lazy, and it only takes away from those times when racism truly does exist. The boy who cried wolf, Stop doing this. You know, the speculation is going to continue. We'll hear more and more from scouts, et cetera, as far as why it took till pick 144 for Shadur's name to be called. But please just stop with the race baiting.
Yes. 100 times,
And
yes.
Stephen A. Smith was one of the people that was like, this is clearly an actor. And I'm just like, I can't. I mean, in the NFL, are they going to start calling racism in the NBA next? Is that what, is this where we're headed?
Hopefully they'll play that when he runs for president.
It's just so
they'll just play
dumb.
that clip. It's like, dude, stop. Just stop.
I mean, it really is pathetic.
It is dumb. Like and she's absolutely right. The more they scream it, the less that it has an effect on people. It's kind of like we've been called that a gajillion times. And I remember the first time we were called it, it bothered me.
Yeah.
Like it bothered me. So it was bad. But now you call me that and I'm like, whatever. I know what I am. You know what I mean? It has no effect whatsoever. It should have an effect. It should mean something, but they've taken all the meaning out of it.
Yep. There was the White House Correspondents Association dinner this weekend. Of course, Trump did not go. No members of his administration went. And neither did the hired comedian that was supposed to, you know how they always have a comedian doing the sort of the MC stuff?
Right.
Well, that Amber, what was her name? Amber Ruffin or Huffin? Something like that. She was that black chick who I think may have been on SNL. I'm not sure what her comedian background is, but she has been going on all of these talk shows lately talking about how she's just essentially going to rip Donald Trump to shreds. And it got to the point where the association was like, you know what? We're not going to have you. We're just not going to have a comedian. And so they didn't. And that was an interesting choice for them. The top dog at the White House Correspondents Association, a guy by the name of Eugene Daniels. I mean, these dinners are all about just puffing themselves up, super self-serving. And so here is what he said unironically to the crowd of journalists.
A lot of things. We are competitive and pushy. We are impatient, and sometimes we think we know everything. But we're also human. We miss our families and significant life moments in service to this job. We care deeply about accuracy and take seriously the heavy responsibility of being stewards of the public's trust. What we are not is the opposition. What we are not is the enemy of the people, and what we are not is the enemy of the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to stand up a clap for that. Trump wore a blue suit. He wore a damn blue suit. Headlines. Yeah, you're not the enemy of the people. God.
So ridiculous.
Like, pat yourself on the back. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they totally are. You are. You actually are the enemy of the people. You have made this country the divided state that it is, like with a little bit of Obama's help, but mostly you. It's mostly you, press. Congratulations. Good job.
And they just think so much of themselves.
They do.
You know what I mean? It is incredible.
Yep.
It's like it's the Oscars for the press, essentially.
Yep.
And it's
Zero
every bit.
Zero self-awareness. Zero. These people cannot say, hey, you know, I have zero accountability. I haven't done anything. I'm not responsible for any of this that's happening. Shut up.
They're just insufferable.
Yeah.
There was an award given. I guess it's like a $2,500 award. It's like the Journalist of the Year or whatever. And we'll get to that in just a second. I'm sure that the wine was flowing at this event, but I have a feeling it was not wine from RepublicanRed.com.
It should have been.
Just a hunch.
Right.
But it should have been, because their wine is delicious. And you guys, why would you not want to drink wine from a company that is ideologically similar to you, that has the same values as you? We love this company. In fact, coming up, we're going to be giving you more details in the future about this, but we're going to be doing an online tasting with them and with you.
Yeah.
And there will be more information about that coming up soon. But right now, they are doing this Patriot Starter Pack, which is their 4 top wines. It's a couple of reds, white. I think there's a sparkler in there.
Yep, there's a sparkler. Yep.
It's a fantastic 4-pack to get you started on Republican Red's brand. And you can get 10% off plus free shipping when you use code CHICKS at republicanred.com. So as they say, pop a cork for freedom. With the Patriot Starter Pack, you get 10% off plus free shipping. It's again, republicanred.com. And of course, the code is CHICKS. Do it. It really is delicious.
It is. It's good. I like the sparkling stuff the best.
You should try it. You should absolutely try it. All right. So like we said, there was an award given at this event. Kristen Welker was the one to deliver or to introduce the person getting the award. The guy that won is from Axios. His name is Alex Thompson. And actually, he had a pretty good message for the crowd. And it is that we effed up when it came to covering Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Now, of course, this is too little too late, but at least there's some level of acknowledgement, sort of, from this room of people. Here he is.
This year's award goes to Alex Thompson of Axios. The judges said Thompson's aggressive reporting on President Biden, especially leading up to and after the Trump-Biden debate, revealed the president's cognitive decline was impacting his ability to do his job, information the White House tried to conceal.
I wouldn't
And
be
so did
standing
you.
here without you.
Yeah.
Thank you to Jake Tapper for being a fearless
Mike,
reporting partner
you gotta be kidding
for a
me with
book
this.
on this very topic.
Oh my God.
It's my speech, so a nakedly shameless plug that Original Sin is available for pre-order right now.
I can't.
President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves.
God.
We, myself included, missed a lot of this story. And some people
Really?
trust us less because of it. We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows. I say this because acknowledging errors builds trust, and being defensive about them further erodes it.
My God. I
Should have
can't.
done better. I believe our mission is vital in a world where people are struggling to figure out what's true, and people with power are not telling the truth.
Okay. Listen, they didn't just screw this up. They screwed up COVID. They screwed up the whole Trump presidency before that was like 96% anti-Trump. They've screwed up so much stuff along the way. There's been like screw up after screw up after screw up. They've like the culture has been changed dramatically because of the media. So for him to be like, well, I mean, we may have screwed up the Biden thing a little bit. We may have lied for 4 years.
We missed some
Whoops.
stuff.
Whoopsie. They stop. Just stop. Like that
I
is,
mean-
and they're all like, well, I mean, did we do that? I don't know. Did we do that? It's they have destroyed so much of what we love in this country. You know what I mean? They've made us all, they have been a catalyst for dividing us. More so, I think, more so than any politician. It's them. Yeah.
And they don't, I mean, he can say the things. It's like he's paying just enough lip service to be like, what? I mean, we're totally owning it. Look at all the accountability we're holding ourselves to.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's also trying to plug a book that he helped write with Jake Tapper.
Yeah.
And they
who was
don't-
part of it.
Right.
And,
And,
like, what
who
about-
doesn't admit, oh, yeah, I said that Joe Biden had a stutter. That was the reason I gave for all of his mishaps.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's
what
'cause
about-
he is demented.
What about 3 years of Russian collusion that we had to live through? I mean, it's
Mhm.
not just one thing. They act as if they just this one little thing that we did wrong. You've done everything wrong for
Yep.
like the past, I don't even know how many years at this point. This is why the alternative news media or alternative media in general exists, is because you suck so hard and people are looking for alternatives. And they're finding
And it was
them.
the alternative media, by the way, who went to, like the Getty images to get wide shot angles of the Pope's funeral to prove that this is a non-story about the blue suit.
Yeah.
Because the actual press isn't going to do it. And so
they
it's
lie
left to everybody else.
Yeah, they absolutely lie. It's just, just stop it already.
I
Stop
know.
acting like you are the arbiters of truth when you're not. You're a propaganda machine.
Yeah. 1 million people tagged me in this picture of Scott Jennings at the dinner, looking especially foxy.
Look at him looking fly in his tie.
And by the way, Scott Jennings was one of the people that sent this.
Was he really? Really?
He actually sent somebody else's tweet saying, don't show the chicks this. They're going to lose their minds if they see this picture. And he
was like, ha ha.
He was like, look.
Look at him look all snazzy.
I know. He looked so nice.
Scott.
And even Caitlin Collins wanted a photo with Scott Jennings.
Look at that.
She got one.
So great. Look at him go.
So another big story that is really setting off people on the left and the right is the fact that there have recently been 2 arrests of 2 judges. And I guess that makes liberals really mad when you arrest people rightly for doing bad stuff. But I guess they think that judges are somehow immune to being arrested.
Right.
Presidents are fine, right?
Presidents are totally fine. But judges, you can't do that. No.
You can't do that. You can't arrest a judge. No. And so we're going to get into those stories in just a minute. But I first want to remind everybody about helping out Mike Lindell, who's on the struggle bus a little bit right now. He's got a lot of court fees, lawyer fees to pay for because everybody is sued Mike Lindell for everything. And he's a guy that wants things to go the right way. He's a guy that is obviously a huge conservative that believes very strongly in Donald Trump and all of Donald Trump's agenda. And that's the message that he tries to get out there. And he's been an absolute target of lefties for years now.
Right.
Yeah, and it's caught up with him. And so if you've ever been on the fence about maybe trying out something from MyPillow, now would be a really, really great time to help this company out. They've got hugely awesome deals right now on their sandals, their slides, which are like walking on a cloud. They are awesome. We, of course, love their towels, which are just the thirstiest, softest, but not too soft towels on the planet. And of course, you can't go wrong with MyPillow pillows. They are the
best.
gold standard.
Freaking love them.
You can go to mypillow.com/chicks. You can save $60 on their sandals with code chicks. Some of them are, depending on your size and if you're doing men's or unisex or whatever, some of them are less than $10 right now. So please visit mypillow.com/chicks and use code chicks. All right. So let's get into this first judge story. It's a judge out of Wisconsin. Her name is Hannah Dugan. And she apparently had in her courtroom an illegal immigrant who beats his wife. And the wife, along with several family members, were there in order to be witness to this wife who was there to say, yeah, this guy has beat the ever-living crap out of me. And because ICE was waiting for him outside with deportation orders, and the judge, of course, is a bleeding heart, she took that guy who was in her courtroom standing trial for abusing his wife, took him into her chambers, and then helped him escape a private exit in the back, causing ultimately a police chase and putting other lives in danger as a result.
Yeah.
Straight
to jail.
Could not be more guilty. I don't care who she is. That's right. You go straight to El Salvador.
Straight to jail. Straight to jail. What is wrong with these people?
And there's people defending her like, this is, oh my God, we're in a dictatorship if we're arresting judges now.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, tell that to the lady that he beat. So so this is the thing. Democrats are on the side of wife beaters now. This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
Okay. Die on that hill. Let's see how it works out for you, because this is what they're doing. They're defending criminals, wife beaters. I mean, all these people are going to die on this hill, and we're going to, I hope that this actually affects the midterms. I hope that the RNC is taking video of all the stuff and they are just pummeling people during the midterms with all of this imagery. because the optics of this, so
It's
bad. So
It's
bad.
real bad. The older millennial had a great rundown of this story. Make sure to hide your kids and hide your wives because there is some language.
All right, so let's talk about why this judge was actually arrested and not the bullshit reason you've been hearing from all these liberal TikTok creators. Because I'm sure they told you that they arrested her because Trump's a fascist. You know, because our Constitution is in jeopardy. Because we're almost a dictatorship. No, she was arrested because she very obviously committed a crime. And what crime did she commit? Well, she tried to help a man who was beating his fucking wife escape from the police. That's what she did. See, there was a man in her court named Eduardo Flores Ruiz. And he was not in court for an immigration hearing. No, he was in court because he beat the shit out of his wife. He was there for a domestic violence case. Now, she was the judge for the domestic violence case. She had nothing to do with immigration. However, when she found out that immigration was waiting to arrest this man at the conclusion of the trial, she first went out into the hallway and yelled at everybody, which she's a judge. She's allowed to do that. But then she did something she's not allowed to do. She took the man who was currently in her court for beating the shit out of his wife, and she tried to sneak him out the back of the building through the jury exit. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to help an illegal immigrant who is also on trial for beating the shit out of his wife evade the police. None of you are. I can't do it, you can't do it, and this fucking judge can't do it. She was not arrested because our democracy is in jeopardy. She was arrested because she tried to help a criminal escape the authorities. A criminal who was in her courtroom because he beat the shit out of his wife. I hope she goes to prison.
Yeah, I hope she goes to prison too. And these people who are defending her and defending this, what is wrong with you? Take a good look in the mirror. Something is seriously wrong with you. It's all because I hate Trump. He's so orange. Okay.
It really is.
Right. And what is she going to like start dating the guy now? Like, he beats his wife. He's illegal. Hey, you want to go out? Hey.
That is my favorite mugshot probably of all time though. Like her fat crying face.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like I saw a bunch of memes over the weekend where it was, you can tell when somebody's innocent and when somebody's guilty. She's guilty AF with that face and the crying. And then you see Trump's mugshot and he's like, oh no, you didn't.
Right. Because she genuinely thought she was untouchable. Well, you're not, lady.
You're not. Yeah.
You don't get to break the law this hard and just think you're going to skate. And
Judges
Bill Barr,
out of control.
Bill Barr was on one of the news stations, I think it was Fox, talking about this. I mean, he thinks this is kind of a slam dunk case.
The Supreme Court, because I think the law is so clear. The states argue, the sanctuary states argue, they don't have to affirmatively assist us, the feds, in getting hold of these illegal aliens. But this isn't a question of assisting. This is actually interfering with, of harboring, of getting in the way. Yeah. And so I don't think there's any question about this. And I think it's time for zero tolerance and getting back to basics, which are that judges and state officials are still citizens. They're subject to the federal law, and they cannot interfere in or impede the federal function. So,
this isn't hard. This is like elementary stuff. Yeah, judges should be like that. They should also be impartial. You know, and you can tell that so many of these judges aren't.
They're totally radical.
They're absolutely radical. They have an agenda, and man, they want to carry it out no matter what, even if they have to break the law to do it. Gross. Get them out of there.
Yeah, and then there's the other judge case in New Mexico that was actually allowing a Tren de Aragua member to live in his little casita on his property. Range and practice shooting stuff. I mean, it's a crazy story. So both of these judges obviously did stuff wrong. Like this is clear-cut criminality. And so Pam Bondi gave a rundown of kind of both of these cases. This runs a little bit long, but I think it's important that you hear from her why these cases are happening. Here she is.
Victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Can you imagine?
God.
Like it baffles the mind. And Democrats are on this side. This is the side that they want to be on. I wonder if there's that judge, the New Mexico judge and his wife. I don't know, because I don't know anything about their personal lives, but I wonder if they have kids, kids or grandkids, because it said that he was a former judge. So, I mean, like, do they have kids, grandkids? Are they running around that house with the TDA guy, like living in their casita? And what in the world, you guys?
Well, and there's a photo of the judge like arm in arm with that guy, with the TDA member. And it's super weird because the judge is wearing like a short sleeve, button down type of shirt. And that's all?
No pants. I saw that too. Yeah.
What?
Like there's something going on. Obviously something going on. Waka waka.
Yeah.
And then there's and then beyond that, you have to ask yourself the question, what money is being transferred here? There's money involved here. There's money involved.
I mean, this is crazy.
And Dan wants to know, why are you gay? It's a great question, Dan.
Well, and I saw somebody saying, I wonder how Jessica Tarlov is going to spin this on the 5 tonight. That's a great question. I would love to see, because she will defend them. She will absolutely defend them. Due process, whatever. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Well, at least Ellie Honig on CNN seems to be reasonable about this, because he's actually suggesting it does seem that these charges are legit. So here's what he said.
Let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If they can prove what happened here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Person B then says, hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction.
You think?
Textbook.
You think it's textbook? And for what? Years. I both have been saying, like, these people should just let these people live with them. You got an extra bedroom, and then this judge did it. I'm like, he's doing it. He's living in his casita.
Challenge accepted.
He's like, all right, chicks, I'll take this TDA member and I'll put him in my house, and we're going to become BFFs, and I'm going to be pantsless with him. Waka waka. I mean, it's like, what is happening, you guys?
Oh my God. Just incredible.
It's crazy.
We also have Scott.
Of course we do.
Weighing in on these judges.
Respond to something
Yeah,
you said,
go ahead.
which is that you said, well, you got to worry about the impact on the community.
Yes.
The president and the Justice Department and his people have to worry about the impact of illegal immigration on the country, because nobody's been worried about that for years. And the reason this is important is because this is one of Donald Trump's biggest criminal justice priorities. And frankly, it's one of the American people's biggest priorities to control this. And you know well, there are people all over towns, all over this country who have been working overtime to try to stop him from executing on this agenda. If she turns out to be one of them, a spectacle is warranted so other people will stop doing it.
I appreciate
Let me tell you what offends
We really
me.
gotta go.
Is that there are people and one political party in this country dedicated to re-importing illegal aliens hand over fist, and it is outrageous.
It's true. They will do everything they can to keep them here, and like you said, re-import them. What is that? There are people here that don't have what they need. And we're $30-something trillion in debt. I don't know if anybody cares about that. We are. We're broke.
Well, and some of the complaints from the liberals is not even about the fact that it's a clear-cut case of criminality, which it clearly is, but they're mad about the spectacle. And that's what he was responding to. Why did they have to make it like such this big deal? And these are the same people that went and did a raid at Mar-a-Lago with like all the freaking FBI people. They're complaining about a spectacle now.
Well,
really?
I just assume that this is going to happen. This is what they do. They always project, no matter what it is.
Totally.
They always bitch and moan about the very things that they do. This is what they do all the time. It's just like every day we see that happening. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing that happened yesterday, just out of nowhere, is that Cory Booker really, really, really likes to hear himself talk for hours and hours. So he got himself together with Hakeem Jeffries, and they decided, hey, let's go sit on the steps of the Capitol and just live stream ourselves talking about how bad Trump is. And maybe people will come and join us, and some did. I think that they were expecting to draw like massive crowds. They did not do that. There was a smattering at best of people at any time during the day. They talked, you guys, for 12 straight hours.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So here is the beginning, or not the beginning necessarily, but like somewhere in the middle of this 12-hour marathon. Here's Hakeem Jeffries talking about why they were doing it.
Time for us to put principles over party. Principles over party. It reminds me, I think that's a powerful moment for us.
It's a powerful moment, he said.
It's so cringe. All of this is so cringe. It's like all the burnout kids from high school going out to smoke pot and just sitting out there, and they're not doing anything.
Totally
You're
is.
just wasting everybody's time. Bunch of losers on the steps.
Totally. I mean, this did nothing. Once again, accomplished nothing.
Right. And we pay for it. We pay for that.
Yeah, we pay for their salaries. There were a bunch of other Congress people who showed up at random times to chime in. At one point, Cory Booker talked about his favorite poet, Muhammad Ali, and had this quote.
First of all, my favorite Muslim poet was a man named Muhammad Ali.
Ooh,
and that great poem, 2 words, me, we.
Woo! Woo! Was that Randi White? Was that Randi behind them? Randi, what's her name?
Yes.
Education.
She joined in for a while.
The education troll. Yeah.
Yes.
She did join in for a while.
So here they are at the 6-hour mark.
Hello, my friend.
We didn't know how long we would be out here, and now we have passed our 6th hour. With all of you. And we're not going anywhere.
I'm feeling strong. How are you feeling?
Feeling strong.
You got some.
They are
cringe. It's insufferable. It's so insufferable. Thanks for wasting our money and time by doing nothing. You just basically are proving that you do nothing for money.
Yeah.
For our money.
Because again, what did this accomplish?
Nothing.
Except for a little bit of attention, I guess, on them. This is what they live for, is attention. Here they are at the 10-hour mark.
Power here. Now, we said we were anchoring ourselves in the moral traditions. When we came out here over 10 hours ago, Hakeem and I said this is a bigger moment than politics. This is a moral moment in America, and we were going to sit here for a long time. I didn't know we'd be sitting for 10 hours, but it's 10 hours and we're still going, and we got some great people here. But
I mean,
what's up with bunny ears behind him? What's she doing? It's not Easter anymore. What's going on? What is that?
Well, she also needed attention.
But
she needed some too.
Yeah. Everybody on these steps just wanted it.
Right. It's just exhausting. So then at 12 hours, they finally wrapped it up. So it was 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Here they are at the 12-hour mark.
Moral traditions at the 6 o'clock hour. We're officially at the 12 hours that we've been at this. We started walking in your office, got down here a few minutes after 6 o'clock a.m. It is now 6 o'clock p.m.
This was my favorite picture.
That is the best thing. Blame it on the rain, y'all. Blame it on girl. You know it's true.
You know it's true.
God, I miss them. I miss Willy Vanilli. That is the greatest. They look like them. So great.
I mean, honestly, that's a better look for Hakeem. I think he should consider it.
Both of them. I think both of them should consider that look together, and they should actually like start a group where they do the little.
I just love that
I'm in love with you, girl. I'm in love with you, girl. They should do it. God, I love them.
Anyway, it accomplished nothing. It was pointless, and that happened yesterday.
Okay.
Also, Trump, you may have heard, we've talked about ActBlue and how absolutely corrupt they are many, many times. Trump is now saying there's going to be some investigating into ActBlue. Please read his tweet to our audience.
Oh, I love his tweets. Hopefully, ActBlue, the Democrats' illegal scam used to raise money, including from not allowed foreign contributions, is being looked at by authorities. The Dems only know how to win by cheating, something which they do better than any group or party in history. But now, with their terrible policies and candidates, and with people like crooked Adam Schiff, who demanded a full pardon from Sleepy Joe leading the way, it is almost impossible to reach their money goals. The USA is wise to these scoundrels and crooks. Also, why did the auto pen give Schiff a pardon? Biden knew nothing about it. Who operated the auto pen? That is the biggest question being asked in DC. They almost destroyed our country. They should all be in jail. I agree.
I totally agree.
I agree.
And they're going to uncover so much absolute corruption in this organization. It is so sketch and so shady.
Do it.
It's going to be good stuff. So Adam Schiff responded in his own tweet, and here is Adam. He said, Donald Trump is back to attacking me today because the economy has been in a tailspin under his economic mismanagement, and so have his poll numbers. And the last thing he wants is people holding him accountable. Attack me as much as you like, Mr. President. I'm not backing down.
Innocent people do not need preemptive pardons. They don't, Adam. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. He was also on Bill Maher's show.
Bill Maher, yeah.
Actually admitting, this was stunning to me, and it runs a little bit long, but I was like, this is a story that everybody's got to hear. He told a story about having his luggage stolen out of his car in San Francisco and seemed to recognize that there's a problem in his state.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it, but here he is actually admitting there's an issue.
So we're going to have to change how we do business in California. We're going to have to address people's legitimate concerns about crime. I was in South San Francisco 2 years ago after I had an experience in the city that all too many people had. When my luggage was stolen out of my car, they tell you don't ever leave your luggage in the car. God. I never do until the one time I did. And of course, it got stolen. And what was most memorable about the experience for me is I went to this Target in South San Francisco, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm getting the toiletries I'm going to need for my next 2 days in the city. I get to the cashier.
You went there by yourself, not an assistant.
I think I went there. Well, yes, I had somebody drop me off at the store, and so
I don't mean to make that an issue. Actually, I waited somewhere I should not have waited into it.
Okay. First of all, I had to get the clerk, which is hard to find, to unlock the shampoo or the whatever. So that's one thing. And then I get to the cashier. The cashier asked me if I want one of those Target bags with a little bullseye on it. And I said, yes, that Target bag is going to be my luggage for the next 2 days. And she asked me what happened, and I told her, and she basically said, in not so many words, yeah, Democrats are assholes.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, if the cashier in South San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night believes that Democrats are assholes because the shampoo is locked up and my stuff got stolen out of the trunk, we've got a major problem.
Really?
That we have to address. And I think
that's an awesome story.
Yeah. So do something about it.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. It's nice that he could like take a moment to be with the plebes and the people down in the, the people that shop at Target. So he could see what it's like to be, a normal person, I guess. As some people don't believe that actually happened, but I believe it.
I believe it.
And
yeah,
I believe I believe that woman actually said Democrats are assholes. Because you know what? Democrats are assholes.
And why would he make up that story?
Right.
Like that's because it just makes him and Democrats look bad. So I don't know why he would make that up if it didn't actually happen.
What makes him look worse is that he won't do anything about it and that he's not prevented that from happening. So that makes him look worse. But then these people will still put him in office. They'll continue to put him and the Gavin Newsoms and the Nancy Pelosi's that continue to do that. And then California continues to suffer.
Because it's like the White House Correspondents Association dinner. They feel like if they just say out loud, we recognize our mistakes and our problems, that's enough. They don't actually do the things it takes to fix the problems. They just want everybody to hear them say, oh, we totally own and accept responsibility, except they don't. They really just don't.
It's a big therapy session for libs. That's what it is. Whereas we are like, okay, then do the things, which is why we elected Donald Trump, because he can do the freaking things. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to be at a therapy session. He's just going to go get shit done. That's what he does.
Yep. And then the liberals who keep voting in these clowns are people who are so freaking stupid that they just grab onto a media headline or a leftist narrative and they run with it without actually doing any research, without actually forming any, thought out opinions of their own. And it never is more evident than when you do some of those man on the street interviews. This is a couple who keeps relying on each other to answer the tough questions, but neither of them can. And it just ends up being the most cringe man on the street interview ever. Check this out.
Today to the Bernie Sanders rally.
I don't like what's going on in our country right now. I'm just kind of disgusted by it.
What's the biggest risk?
Oh gosh, what would you say, Dan? Well, I'll let you speak to that.
I don't know. I don't really care for the language that's being spoken right now in the country.
Can you give any examples of specific language?
I love that.
Let me think about that.
So many things, I don't even know where to start. I would say, oh gosh, Dan, help.
Dan, help her. Dan,
what's changed over the last couple months post-Biden administration for you guys?
Oh gosh. Once again, where do we start? Okay, you go for this one.
Yeah.
So,
I can't answer a question.
A whole list of things I can't even think of right now.
Yes,
I just can't think of them. Sorry.
I'm an independent woman who don't need no man. Dan, mansplain this, please. This is a liberal woman in a nutshell. I can't answer the questions about why I'm here. I'm just here.
There's just so many things I don't know where to start.
Feelings, emotions. That's why I'm here. I don't know why.
Pathetic.
It is pathetic when two
you're
people
going to be
together
and rally and there's signs all around you and people are there for a cause that you cannot even communicate the basic reason that you're there.
No, they don't. They don't know why they're there.
Oh my God. You mentioned Randi Weingarten earlier in the show because she was on the steps of that one point. And this clip, it's an old one of Scott Jennings, which I had not seen, but it is of him absolutely schooling Randi Weingarten. You can tell it's old because he's a little meatier. Okay.
Yeah.
Or his glow up.
He has lost a lot of weight. Like
lots of weight. Like he needs to stop.
He needs to stop now. I was just going to say, I mean, I normally don't, he probably needs to stop. If you're watching this, Scott. Yeah, you need to stop now.
Ixnay on the 8-loss way.
Right.
Because he's perfect right now. But so this was older, but this was when he was on a panel with Randi Weingarten, who apparently was trying to suggest that she was like this unbelievable force for wanting schools to be open during COVID. And he was like, bitch, please only not so many words.
I wish he would have said that. That would have been great.
Same. Oh my God, same. But he blasted her, and this is glorious.
But speaking on behalf of millions of American parents, I have 4 at home. I had to teach them at home. My wife had to teach them at home. I am stunned at what you have said this week about your claiming to have wanted to reopen schools. I think you'll find that most parents believe you were the tip of the spear of school closures. There are numerous statements you made over the summer of 20, scaring people to death about the possibility of opening schools. And I hear no remorse whatsoever about the generational damage that's been done to these kids. I have 2 kids with learning differences. Do you know how hard it is for them to learn at home and not in a classroom that was designed for them? And for you to sit in front of Congress and the American people and say, oh, I wanted to open them the whole time. I am shocked. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. And there are millions of parents who feel the exact same way.
You could hear like the anger and emotion in his
rage.
voice, the absolute rage. Like he was trying to control his rage because he's talking about his kids. And when you start talking about kids, you just want to like reach across that table.
It gets super personal.
Yeah, because she is a lying sack of crap, that woman. Just
God, I loved that he said that stuff to her actual
right there,
stupid, ugly face.
She had nothing to say. Nothing. She was just, I think she was stunned that he was calling her out. God bless him for doing that. Yeah.
He's good people, man, which is why we have yet another clip of Scott.
God, I'm rolling my R's a lot today, you guys.
I know, but this one was so good too because he went off on that chick whose name I can't pronounce. I think it's like Sochel or something. It starts with like an X. I don't even know.
Parents did not like her. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, she was talking about that freaking Garcia dude, and she called him a Maryland man, and he just was like, no. He was like, enough with the Maryland man. He lost it. It was fantastic. Here it is.
One of the issues that Donald Trump is really under the water, probably his worst issue, is the Maryland man who is in El Salvador right now. It's something that...
Maryland man?
He is a Maryland man.
Come on.
What I will tell you
is an El Salvadoran citizen. He is not a Maryland man. He is an illegal immigrant living in this country illegally for 14 years.
Whatever you want to say, Scott, but the American
this
people...
is why the polling is the way it is, because we're lying. We're lying.
We're not lying. The American
Scott,
people...
the peace orders were in Maryland.
Guys,
he was beating his wife.
The American...
Even though they have been saying that about him for weeks, that is not penetrating, and Americans are just misled, and that's why they don't like how Trump has handled this.
He has been saying that for weeks. And what has the entirety of the national news media been saying? He's a Maryland man. He's a mild-mannered suburban father. We have lied our rear ends off about this case.
Yeah.
He is a El Salvador illegal immigrant. He came to the country 14 years ago illegally. There is a ton of evidence that he is involved in gang activity. There is a ton of evidence that he was involved in human trafficking.
There's a ton of evidence that he beat his wife.
Yeah, from her.
They love wife beaters. They sure do, don't they?
It's just, I mean, that again, they're always on the wrong side. They
Always.
defend the indefensible. This is what they do. The newest story that came out this weekend was about, oh my gosh, Trump has deported children. He's deported babies.
Yeah.
And so Marco Rubio went off on a news in a talk show about that, and he set the record straight.
Misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane.
Exactly.
That's misleading.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the overhaul at the State Department, is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process? Just to be very clear there.
Well, No. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then what? You have two choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go. The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally in America.
Yeah, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, they didn't address how they handled this situation either, which was poorly and propagandized. Yeah. But listen, if my mother robbed a bank, say, she robs a bank, she gets caught for that, right? She is a criminal. And people who cross our border illegally are illegals. They've done something illegal. That's a crime, right? That's a crime. Okay. But if my mother robbed a bank and she was put in jail, we'd be separated. Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody cares.
And it happens every single day.
To American kids. It happens all the time in this country. That happens. People break the law. Adults do. They have children. They get separated all the time. Those kids get to go with their mom if they choose to go with their mom. I think if they have a dad, like he said, if they have a dad that lives here, they can stay here. They have choices. That's nice, isn't it? That they have choices. That's nice. I mean, if my family member broke the law, we would actually be separated. But I don't see anybody crying on the left about that. I don't.
Well, because the left doesn't care about citizens of the country. They only care about illegals. That's who they defend. I know, it's absolutely crazy. I hope that your glasses are your good ones.
I think all my glasses are my not so good ones at this point. I'm just going to have to get new glasses, but yes. Is it a big one? It's a big one, isn't it?
Big one. Yeah. Okay. JD Vance retweeted Donald Trump's truth about Russia, Ukraine, and specifically a New York Times article that was written about his positioning of this. And he was mad. And so it's a rant and you need to read this to everybody.
Okay, here we go. No matter what deal I make with respect to Russia, Ukraine, no matter how good it is, even if it's the greatest deal ever made, the failing New York Times will speak badly of it. Little Peter Baker, the very biased and untalented writer for the Times, followed his editor's demands and wrote that Ukraine should get back territory, including, I suppose, Crimea and other ridiculous requests, in order to stop the killing that is worse than anything since World War II. Why doesn't this lightweight reporter say that it was Obama who made it possible for Russia to steal Crimea from Ukraine without even a shot being fired? It was also Little Peter who wrote an absolutely fawning yet terribly written biography on Obama. It was a joke. Did Baker ever criticize the Obama Crimea giveaway? No, not once, only Trump. And I've had nothing to do with this stupid war other than early on when I gave Ukraine javelins and Obama gave him sheets. This is Sleepy Joe Biden's war, not mine. It was a loser from day one and should have never happened. And it wouldn't have happened if I were president at the time. I'm just trying to clean up the mess that was left to me by Obama and Biden and what a mess it is. With all that being said, there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along and has to be dealt with differently through banking or secondary sanctions. Too many people are dying. He's right.
And it's crazy that everyone is coming down on Trump for this when he's literally the only person who has tried to negotiate a peace. Right. And he's the only one that can, frankly. Yep. And so this was another line of questioning with Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio, when she was like, well, how come Trump's not sanctioning Russia hard enough?
Oh my God.
I know. It's absolutely insane. And so Marco set her straight about that as well. Here he is.
Given the frustrations that he is voicing, Mr. Secretary, why hasn't he imposed sanctions yet?
Well, because I think we're still hoping to see that this effort works out in diplomacy and that we can bring these two sides closer together. I mean, the minute you start doing that kind of stuff, you're walking away from you're walking away from it. You've now doomed yourself to another 2 years of war, and we don't want to see it happen. I think what's important and really weighs is there is no other country There is no other institution or organization on the earth that can bring these two sides together. No one else is talking to both sides but us. And no one else in the world can make something like this happen but the president. This is a very significant responsibility and a really important opportunity. And we want to make sure that we work it all the way through, that we don't walk away from something that can actually work or that can actually lead to peace. But we also don't want to continue to spend time on something that's not going to get us there. So throughout this process, it's about determining, do both sides really want peace, and how close are they or how far apart they are after 90 days of effort here, over 90 days of effort. That's what we're trying to determine this week. There are reasons to be optimistic, and there are also reasons to be concerned. It's complicated. If this was an easy war to end, it would have been ended by someone else a long time ago. Right. But right now, the only one who can bring these two sides together to end this war is our president, President Trump, and we're doing everything we can to see if we can get that done here over the next few days.
Yeah, because your guy couldn't do it because he didn't even know
your guy
where he
helped
was.
Start it.
Right. He's too busy crapping his pants and had no idea where he was. But then she has the audacity to be like, he's not doing it good enough.
Right? It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's absolutely incredible,
isn't it? Yeah.
My God. You know, it's bad enough when we have liberal politicians saying all the crazy things and siding with the absolutely indefensible people that they side with. But there's a lot of evidence that pastors across the country are getting way too political. We have a couple of examples. One, a guy by the name of Pastor Jamal Bryant, who basically calls Republicans roaches, and not just Republicans, but people who vote for Republicans. This is vile, and I cannot believe how many people attend this kind of disgusting church, but they do. And so here is Pastor Jamal Bryant.
But when I used to live with my grandmother in the projects of New York, y'all ain't saying nothing. I discovered something, that roaches only start running when you turn the lights on. As long as the lights are out, they gonna be comfortable eating your cereal. Y'all ain't saying nothing, climbing in your cupboard. But when you turn the light on, all of the roaches gotta start moving. I came to give a warning. Elon Musk, the light is getting ready to come on. Donald Trump, the light is getting ready to come on. JD Vance, the light is getting ready to come on. MAGA, the light is getting ready to come on. Okay. Welcome, because the roaches will check in, but they won't check out. The lights are coming on.
Yeah.
What in the world?
I feel like there's a pulmonary disorder there that has been undiagnosed. He's got to take care of that. Somebody needs to tell him there's something happening.
He needs to be suctioned, essentially.
Right. Some sort of a snorkel device needs to happen there. And this is not a church. It's not a church. Where's the talk about the Bible? Where is that? There's nothing. I mean, he literally is up there like being a propagandist. Gosh, this is why people don't go to church anymore. This is why they don't.
I know. It's disgusting.
It's
and
gross.
There's another example, not quite as phlegmy, thankfully. This is a guy in Illinois. I don't know his name. He's a Methodist pastor who's talking about illegals and comparing them to like how Jesus would be looked at.
Was undocumented.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just say that again and let that sink in for just a moment. The very person we're celebrating today, the very one in whom we worship, was undocumented.
It doesn't help when he
Jesus was a refugee. Jesus knew what it was to flee in fear and to live as a stranger in a strange land. Jesus was that person. If Jesus came today in flesh and blood, would we even let him in? Would we let him cross our borders? Would we let him into our synagogues and sanctuaries? Or would he be met with a wall, a cage, or a flight out of the country to El Salvador?
I just cannot with this crap. I can't. Pastor Shelley, we need you, girl. We need you. Like this is crazy. Jesus was documented, actually, I think. Didn't his parents go there for a census? Wasn't that how? Yeah, right. Jesus was born in Bethlehem because of it. Right. That's right. It was a whole census thing. I'm not good at the Bible. I mean, I'm trying to be good at it, but I'm not like a theologian or whatever you call it. But that guy should know that. Shouldn't he know that? I feel like if you're getting up on a pulpit and you're doing the things, you should know that kind of stuff. Anyway, this is DEI happening in churches, and it's why people don't go to church. You just go to Shelley's church, and then all other churches.
Just go to Pastor Shelley.
Just read your Bible, y'all, because we should tell him to do that, right?
Switching gears, we need to show you a couple of people who are just absolutely insufferable. The first of them being Meghan Markle. I didn't think it could get worse than it's already been, but it can, and it does. And she continues to think she is so special, you guys. She's such a unique, special flower, and she makes everything around her so special.
Yeah.
And she wants you to know it. Here she is in some sort of a Time magazine recognition, and please try to withhold your vomit.
To be talking about for Time 100. Let's talk about flower sprinkles. Because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving in our everyday. They're tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. It didn't actually matter. On a yogurt parfait. The level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate that there is a love for the detail and the small level of delight that can be added. So take flower sprinkles really as an analogy and think about what you could do in your everyday life that can just have a little splash of magic on unexpected moments.
I'm shocked she didn't go to space with all those other bitches, honestly. She should have just gone.
She belonged on that flight.
She belonged on the penis rocket. She just did.
Yes.
She's just the worst. She is the worst. Like, who cares? You're putting flower petals on yogurt? And that is supposed to spark joy.
It's magical.
I'd be like, get it out of there. I don't want flowers in my yogurt, you guys.
Or on scrambled eggs? What are you doing?
Your scrambled eggs. I don't even like ketchup on my scrambled eggs. I know some of y'all do. And you do you, okay? But like flower petals? Who is this woman? And why is she calling herself?
She thinks it's so magical and she's such an inspiration.
Right, because she has nothing else to do with her life.
Yeah.
The dogs are fighting over her now. Like she still calls herself the Duchess of Sussex. I thought that she's not supposed to do that. It's like, your title is, when you leave that part of your life and you do it on purpose with purpose, the title should be stripped, right?
It should be.
Why does she continue she never did that. She was never the Duchess of Sussex. She just boinked the prince. You know what I mean? She didn't do anything.
If you thought she was bad, just wait, because it gets worse. Michelle Obama. So Michelle Obama has decided that the reason that people are not noticing her in public is because they're too attached to their phones, and has nothing to do with the fact that she doesn't look like she used to. Okay. I kind of feel like she's changed in her appearance somewhat. You're going to see how put off she is by the fact that she is not recognized by everyone and fussed over by everyone all the time. Here it is.
There are a lot of people here of all ages who are trapped by their phones. And when you talk about us being disconnected and not talking to each other, I am not out in the world like a normal person anymore. But when I am, people don't even recognize me. You know why? Because they're on their phones. Nobody is looking at each other. I could walk right past somebody with a hat on, and I'm just a black woman in a cap. But
I don't know.
No, I've done it.
I don't know about that.
I have done it. I fly commercial. I am out there with the people, and folks are not paying attention.
I fly commercial.
So.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, what an elitist jackhole.
Mm-hmm. People are paying attention to her, you guys. Now, she does have a point. People really don't pay attention that much anymore. There is a little bit of a point there. I'll give her a little bit of that. But I think that she's talking about it not because of that reason. She's talking about it because she's like, people don't pay attention to me.
How can they not notice me and want to talk to me and fawn over me?
Because I'm Michelle freaking Obama.
That is
And
just the
her
most
brother.
narcissistic way of telling that story.
She and her brother are like twins.
I know,
is
it's
her
so
without
jarring.
hair. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild. He literally is her. I mean,
He's
he looks
her.
exactly like her.
Bald her, you guys. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then in this last clip for this segment, before we get to my Pillow Toks, there was an hugely cringe interview with Bill Belichick, who is dating like a woman who's like 50 years younger than he is.
Like 12 years old. It's gross.
It's super gross. He's wearing like a Flashdance sweatshirt.
Right. It's like
it says Navy, but it's got like this big hole in it. And it's just so weird. And he had so much trouble just answering basic questions. Well, it turns out she was off to the side. And when the questions turned to their relationship, she put the kibosh on it right away. And it was just really awkward. Here's what it was like.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this. No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
I mean, she's like, Bill, it's time for your meds. And then we're going to go take our daily trip to the ATM. Gotta go. I mean, it's like, I'm worried for him. This guy, listen, I know I shouldn't be because I should be like, God, what a jerk. This guy's a jerk. He's dating like a 24-year-old. He's got like a flash dance because she dressed him, obviously. But somebody needs to be like, Bill, blink if you're okay.
Right?
He's
like, I don't think he's okay.
He's
I don't think
not
he's
okay, you guys. This is not okay. It's so beyond. I'm concerned more about him at this point than I am her. This is gross. Like, what is going on? Somebody in his family, like, I'm sure he has kids, right? Doesn't he has kids? He's got to have kids. They're probably older than her because that's how this works. And so one of his kids, whoever in his family, needs to be like, Bill, are you all right?
He's not okay. Like that is not, none of that was okay at all.
So cringe.
At all.
Very like Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction, isn't it? Like she's.
Yes. And the fact that she's just off to the side, like monitoring everything and telling him it's.
And furthermore, who doesn't want to talk about how you met?
Right? Like that's pretty basic.
It's a very basic question. If you're dating somebody or if you're married to somebody, everybody will answer that question. How did you meet? Of course, I'm going to talk to you about how we met. Everybody has a story, right?
Yeah.
Why would she not want to tell it?
Exactly.
Cringe.
Exactly.
Cringe.
You are about to see for our first My Pillow Talk, a trans woman who seems to be exasperated by the fact that not enough straight men are wanting to date her. And so she's asking the question to her audience, what is it? What is it about me that makes you not want to date me? And there is a guy who answers that question perfectly. So it's both those people. First, you'll see her, then you'll see the response.
This video is for straight men and straight men only. I'm sorry, but how in the world could you not like me? Yes, I'm a trans woman, I'm a doll. Like, what is so different about dating me than a cis woman? I can do everything that she can.
I don't know, mister. It could be the hair flick thing, those fingernails, the annoying eye roll thing, the deep voice, perhaps, but mostly it's the dick. It's the dick that keeps straight men from dating your gay ass.
It's what it is. It's what it is. It is.
I don't know why this is hard.
It's hard when you need to seek mental help. You need to talk to a professional about that because how can you not know? Why do we have to tell you?
And this cat was like, I can do anything a woman can do.
No,
like, why would you not? What is it about me?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Yeah. I was about to be really crude, but I'm not going to be crude. There's a lot of things that we can do that you can't, like a lot. Like, I don't know. Can you give birth? Are you going to go through menopause? Are you going to go? Do you have a period?
I don't know that that's a plus for guys, but
But I mean, but this is what I'm saying. Like, this is the thing. They act like they can do everything that we can do. No, you can't. You can't. And you can put the pieces and parts on there and do the bolt-ons and all that. You're still not a woman.
Nope.
You're not a woman.
I mean, and you know, that guy passed fairly well, but like, come on. People know, you know? Also, this next one is about outdoor influencers and how absolutely annoying they can be when they want to show you the amazing scenery that they might find themselves in. Because you don't ever see the scenery unless it's with their big fat face right in the camera too.
Right.
So this guy is totally making fun of that in the best way.
Oh my God, you guys, look at this view.
It's so true. It is. It's so true. It's
so beautiful.
It's so beautiful, you guys. So yeah.
I love that so much. And then one of my favorite comedians that I follow on TikTok is back with her imitation of what it's like when you use self-checkout at a grocery store.
God, I'm the worst.
Hate it.
I do too.
God.
My daughter loves
hate
it. I hate
Ron
that,
likes it too. He's really good at it.
So does my husband. They constantly want to do that. I'm like, no, there's a person right there. We're not going to wait in line for a person. We're going to do this. What is wrong with you people? I hate it too. I do.
I can't do it. I always mess it up. I always need help.
And then somebody has to come over and you're like, I'm talking to somebody anyway. So I might as well just go through a line. Yeah.
Right. So that's why this was so perfect.
We're going to start by scanning an item. That item has not been scanned. So it seems like you're standing there doing nothing and not scanning an item.
It's so true.
Okay, so we're going to take that item and put it into the bagging area. Unexpected item in bagging area. Are you serious? Remove the unexpected item from the bagging area. So let's take that item and put it into the bagging area. Ooh, so there does seem to be an unexpected item in the bagging area. Say that
Oh my
one
God.
more time. Since you are taking a long time, we're gonna go ahead and need you to scan that next item. What? So I did go ahead and scan that item twice for you. No! It does look like you are gonna need some help. So I went ahead and turned on a bright flashing light so everyone around you knows that you need help. Someone will be coming in the next 7 to 27 minutes to help you. Hey, yeah, what is it? She decided to scan this twice. Okay, you should be good to go. Ooh, so that item is not found. It does seem like there's another unexpected item in that bagging area. No, we're done here. Ooh, since you're here on the keypad, did you want to go ahead and rate our store in a little survey? No. So I can't print your receipt because the printer is not working. I went ahead and turned on that bright flashing light for you.
It's so true. I mean, it happens to me every time.
Every time.
And the bright flashing light, and you're like, I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. All right. So this next one uses dogs to talk about how there are certain words for things that would be so much better if they were different words. So for example, we've talked about snakes being nope ropes. We've talked about alligators being murder logs. I mean, there's like lots and lots. There's a lot of good names for stuff, which by the way, the alligators, I have not seen them in like a week and a half.
Yeah. They're just waiting for me.
I kind of want them to be out when you're here so you can see how nicely far away they are. You know what I mean? But
they're going to come up. They're going to come up on your lawn when I'm there. I just know it. To greet me.
I haven't seen them in a while and I prefer seeing them. So anyway, but here are a whole bunch of things that would be so much better if they had these suggested names.
Things that absolutely should have been named something else. Number 1. Jet skis. They absolutely should have been called motorcycles. Number 2, necklaces. Don't call them necklaces. That shit's a neckoration. Number 3, astronomers. Whose idea was it to call them astronomers and not scientists? Number 4, your emotional baggage is no longer your emotional baggage. It is now your grief case. Number 5, raisins. They're not raisins. Them bitches are dead grapes. Number 6, when you're pregnant and you're having contractions, you're not having contractions. You're having birthquakes.
Yes.
Number 7, watermelons are just fat cucumbers. Number 8, dentures. They're not dentures. They're substitutes. Number 9, your tears. It's sad water. Number 10, if you own an iPhone, your battery life should have been called apple juice.
Missed opportunities.
All of them. All of them are missed. I love all the chewing dogs.
I know,
They're all
right?
chewy. Yeah.
And then I love this last dog because this last dog's got a case of the Zoomies, which, all of our dogs have had a case of the Zoomies before. But this one, the caption read, Zoomies only with the parking brake on. And that's exactly what it looks like, you guys. Check this out.
Oh my. He's so cute. I love dogs. I love dogs. We don't deserve
that.
them.
Like the perfect caption for that.
It really was. The emergency break.
All right, we have one locals tip from Judy Flood, who says, best thing I did was to get my left knee replaced last summer.
See,
and by the way, I've been rereading all of the messages from folks who sent me messages several months ago about their knee replacements. So I'm rereading all of those. I'm trying to get my mind around it. And of course, I have Neve now helping me with the day-to-day updates. So it's going great. Any stories that you want to share, I welcome them. I love all the positive stories. If you have a negative one, please don't send it to me.
Don't send it.
Please don't send it. Okay, now you.
Jennifer, no. So generous. Thank you. Testing. I am crammed in the hospital tornado bunker. We have weather coming, LOL. Here is some money for you to get matching tattoos or not. I could never convince Mock to get one, just FYI. Nope. I have 2. She has 0. Big shout out to the Insiders Group for praying for me through yet another health scare this weekend. You are the best. Stroke Jennifer. Yes, we have the best community ever. Best community ever. Robin Dye, Epstein's Virginia Jeffrey committed suicide?
Quote, suicide.
Mm-hmm. Right. Jennifer, no again. Mock now has Neve and Stroke Jennifer. Mock named me and Daisy named Steve. Prayers of healing to Neve, or is it Neve? I think it would be Kneeve. I think that's what it would be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's right.
Yeah. Uriel Gonzalez, judges are above the law. Presidents are not. Senators are not. Nobody is above the law, but judges are. Well, maybe conservative judges are not, but by golly, liberal judges are above the law. Get with it, everyone. So true. Kristen H., we bear some responsibility for the lack of trust in the media. Are you kidding? You have turned half of the country into deranged lunatics. Take every seat. Media needs to meet karma. It's true, Kristen.
Oh my God, right?
And reflection, which they do not have. Tamara Johnson, making sure I support you all and your sponsors. Ordered my coffee, Healthy Cell, and after the show today, I will be ordering towels and wine. Aww. That's so sweet. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Tamara. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mike Sassman, as a Catholic, I could never imagine hearing a political sermon. Totally foreign concept for us. Yeah, I mean, except for when the Pope talked about not building walls. You know what I mean? Remember?
Yeah.
Except for that. Yeah. Brian Brumley, Jesus' mom and dad were actually on their way to get documented when he was born. That's what I thought. But hey, don't let biblical truth stand in the way of an agenda. Right, Brian? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're a pastor. I feel like that's kind of important. Michelle Schiffbauer, our son got married Saturday in North Carolina. Just want to share our joy and blessings with the Chicks family. Love watching Mock and Daisy live while in North Carolina before going back to Colorado. That is so great. Congratulations.
Congrats. That's so lovely.
Son. You have a daughter-in-law now. That's so great. Daughter-in-laws are awesome. Penny Purdue. As an actual self-checkout attendant, I feel very attacked. People fail to pay attention, and it shows the most at self-checkout. That's true. Actually, you're like the saving. You're the angel that comes in and swoops in and saves people. I'm not mad at the person. I just hate the self-checkouts. I need you to be there to guide me through it.
I know. I always look like before I enter a self-checkout, I always look for the attendant to make sure that someone is there.
Because if not, I'm not doing it.
Clearly, I will mess it up.
Yeah,
however,
totally.
Mess it up, I will find the way.
Because anyway. I can't do it. Yeah, I feel like we're replacing people. I don't like that. I want people to stay in jobs. I don't like robots. We should burn all robots with fire, but that's a whole other story. You guys bring it in. Bring it in. You guys, it's Monday. Hope you have the best Monday ever. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.